If this is your first time on my channel, welcome Red Heart. I try to give you really good content every day. If you like it, subscribe now, so I know you're on my side. Does Josh and Christina Hall's love story from Gorgeous Red resemble a fairy tale? Carpet events to personalized family experiences. Josh and Christina shared their story with viewers, but behind the scenes, they experienced a frightening event that ruined their bond instantly. Hall immediately filed for divorce from Christina. What could have happened behind the scenes? Find out in this story that will leave you on the edge of your seat. To understand the gravity of Josh and Christina Hall's sudden divorce, we need to do a top rewind and examine the events leading up to that fateful day. Known for their dazzling presence on red carpets and their seemingly charming life, Josh and Christina were the epitome of a power couple. Their love story was one that many envied. Filled with grand gestures and public displays of affection, they were always smiling, always together as they attended glamorous events. The media adored them and fans followed their every move, believing in the fairy tale they presented. They were not just partners in love but also in business, often collaborating on projects that showcased their combined star power. From the outside, their marriage seemed perfect, but as we all know, appearances can be deceiving and reality for the couple was far more complex than what they bargained for. Josh, a successful real estate mogul, and Christina, a beloved television personality, found that beneath the surface of their picture-perfect life, cracks were beginning to form. Subtle signs of strain and tension started to emerge unnoticed by the adoring public. Rumors of discord began to surface, but the couple always managed to put on a united front. They continued to share loving posts on social media, attend events together, and speak highly of each other in interviews. Yet those close to them knew that all was not well. The once inseparable duo was now struggling to keep their marriage afloat. The first whispers of trouble in paradise began as mere murmurs in Hollywood. Observant fans and paparazzi noted subtle changes in Josh and Christina's behavior. The once inseparable couple started appearing less frequently together in public. When they did, their interactions seemed more reserved, lacking the warmth and spontaneity that had once defined their relationship. Friends and close associates began to notice the strain at social gatherings. Josh and Christina were often seen engaging more with others than with each other. Their conversations, once filled with laughter and shared glances, became more formal and distant. Christina's close friend, actress Emily Roberts, mentioned in an interview how Christina seemed more withdrawn and less enthusiastic about events she once enjoyed. Several friends and colleagues provided insights that painted a clearer picture of the growing rift. A mutual friend who preferred to remain anonymous revealed that Josh had confided in him about the increasing arguments and misunderstandings at home. Josh was always the calm one, but even he seemed frustrated and exhausted. The friend shared Christina's makeup artist, who had worked with her for years, noticed a change in her demeanor. She used to be so bubbly and full of life. Lately she seemed distracted and often lost in thought. She recalled these subtle yet telling signs were the first indicators that the golden couple's relationship was under strain. The couple's public image was so meticulously crafted that it was hard for fans and even some friends to believe that anything could be wrong when they started missing events occasionally. Their absence was attributed to their busy schedules, and the reserved interactions were seen as a natural evolution of a long-term relationship. The media too played a role in perpetuating the illusion of a perfect marriage. Positive coverage and carefully curated social media posts overshadowed any negative speculation. When rumors did surface, they were quickly quashed by publicists and overshadowed by the couple's next public appearance, where they would put on a united front. In retrospect, the signs were there all along, but the allure of their fairy tale romance made it easier for everyone to overlook the cracks. Then one night something terrifying happened, an incident so shocking that it left Josh with no choice but to immediately end their marriage. What was this horrifying event, and how did it unfold? The final straw came during a high-profile charity event. It was a night like any other, or so it seemed. The evening started off well, with the couple making their usual grand entrance, smiling for the cameras and mingling with other celebrities. However, as the night progressed, the tension between them became increasingly evident. Witnesses later recounted that Josh and Christina had a heated argument in a secluded corner of the venue. The exact details of their conversation remain unknown, but it was clear that emotions were running high. Christina, visibly upset, stormed out of the room, leaving Josh to follow her in a desperate attempt to calm her down. The situation took a terrifying turn when Christina, in a moment of rage, allegedly threw a glass at Josh. The glass shattered and a shard struck Josh, causing a minor injury. What was the argument they had? Does Christina have anger issues? What if the glass had cut Josh in the head? Christina throwing a glass at Josh caused a shock for several of the guests. Things even got more embarrassing as security was called to escort the couple out of the venue separately. For Josh, it seemed this was his breaking point. The public nature of the altercation combined with the physical aggression made it clear that their relationship had reached a state of no return. The incident was not just a private matter but a public spectacle that left both parties humiliated and exposed what was going to happen next in the days and weeks following the charity gala. More details about the terrifying incident began to emerge as friends and insiders started to speak out. A clearer picture of the events leading up to that night began to form. There was a media frenzy that robbed the peace of the usually serene neighborhood where Josh and Christina Hall stayed. Paparazzi and reporters had already begun to gather, wanting a scoop of this major story. The tension was high as everyone waited for any sign of the couple. John was seen hastily exiting their home, his face a mix of exhaustion and distress. He wore casual clothes as he carried a small suitcase and a few personal items out of his home. His movements were hurried, almost frantic, as he loaded his belongings into his car. As he drove away, the cameras captured every moment, the flashes illuminating his troubled expression. Josh's abrupt departure and silence in the press fueled speculation about the situation. Christina's disappearance added to the drama, with friends and family refusing to reveal her whereabouts. Some believed she had gone to a coma. After weeks of public curiosity and concern, Christina resurfaced and issued a brief statement through her publicist. She acknowledged the incident at the gala, expressed regret for her actions, and emphasized personal reflection and growth. Christina apologized publicly, while Josh remained silent, focusing on rebuilding his life and initiating divorce. The media's relentless pursuit of the story led to leaks from sources close to the couple, revealing their dynamics. The couple attended marriage counseling for months, but it only led to more arguments. Christina also struggled with anxiety and depression, which were exacerbated by career pressures and self-criticism. According to the source, Christina's emotional state had been unstable for some time, contributing to her volatile behavior at the charity event. Josh's decision to leave and initiate divorce proceedings was driven by a need to protect himself and find a path to healing. However, as the dust settled, the real battle began. The announcement of their divorce shocked many, but those who followed the case saw it coming. Christina reverted to her maiden name, signaling the end of their chapter together. The legal battle between Josh and Christina Hall was filled with expected events. A surprising discovery kept the audience and media on edge during the event. The divorce proceedings was the existence of a prenuptial agreement that neither party had previously disclosed. This agreement, which had been kept private until then, was signed just days before their lavish wedding, outlined specific terms regarding the division of assets and spousal support. The prenuptial agreement, which had been kept private until the divorce proceedings, became a focal point of contention. The discovery of this document added a new layer of complexity to the case as both sides argued over its validity and interpretation. Christina's legal team challenged the agreement on several grounds, including allegations of fraud, duress, and unconscionability. They argued that the agreement was signed under circumstances that were not fully transparent and that it heavily favored Josh, making it unfair and unenforceable. One of the primary arguments was that Josh had not fully disclosed his assets at the time the agreement was signed. Christina's lawyers presented evidence suggesting that Josh had hidden significant assets which, if proven, could render the agreement fraudulent. The court examined financial records and testimonies to determine whether there had been a deliberate attempt to conceal assets. Christina also claimed that she had signed the prenuptial agreement under duress. She testified that she felt pressured to sign the document just days before their wedding without adequate time to review it or consult with independent legal counsel. The court considered the timing and circumstances under which the agreement was signed, evaluating whether Christina had been forced into accepting terms that she did not fully understand or agree with. The court later came to find that while there were elements of the agreement that raised concerns, there was insufficient evidence to prove outright fraud or force. However, it was agreed that certain provisions of the prenuptial agreement were dishonest and needed to be revised. The court ordered a partial invalidation of the prenuptial agreement, specifically targeting the clauses that were deemed excessively unfair. This decision meant that while the agreement would still stand, its most unfavorable terms would be modified to ensure a more balanced distribution of assets. Yet the drama was just beginning. Another twist came when Christina's legal team presented evidence of alleged financial misconduct by Josh. They claimed that he had been hiding assets and diverting funds to offshore accounts. Accusations that Josh vehemently denied this revelation not only heated up the legal battle but also tarnished Josh's public image, casting doubt on his integrity. The allegations surfaced during a particularly heated phase of the divorce proceedings. Christina's legal team, determined to secure a fair settlement, conducted a thorough investigation into Josh's financial activities. They uncovered what they claimed to be a series of suspicious transactions, suggesting that Josh had been systematically hiding assets to protect them from the divorce settlement. According to the evidence presented, Josh had allegedly transferred significant sums of money to offshore accounts in various tax havens. These transactions, which spanned several years, were purportedly designed to conceal his true net worth and reduce the amount he would owe Christina in the divorce. The legal team also pointed to alleged falsehoods in Josh's financial disclosures, arguing that he had deliberately reduced his income and assets. Josh strongly denied the allegations, maintaining that all his financial dealings were normal. His legal team argued that the transactions in question were legitimate business activities unrelated to the divorce. They presented their own set of documents and expert testimonies to counter Christina's claims, insisting that there was no evidence of wrongdoing. After months of deliberation, the court reached a decision. While it did not find conclusive evidence of outright fraud, it acknowledged that there were irregularities in Josh's financial disclosures. The court ordered a forensic audit of Josh's finances to ensure transparency and fairness in the division of assets. As the legal proceedings raged on, Christina decided to list her Tennessee home for $4.5 million. The Tennessee farmhouse located in Liars Fork is a stunning 6-bedroom 6B estate that she purchased in February 2021 for $2.5 million. The property spans 23 acres, has luxurious amenities such as a pool, hot tub, 3-car garage, barn, and fenced areas for animals. Inside the home boasts a wood-burning fireplace, natural stone walls, beamed ceilings, walk-in closets, a mudroom, and a spacious chef's kitchen. This home was not only a personal retreat for Christina but also served as the setting for her HGTV spin-off Christina in the Country. Why did she choose to list the property? According to a temporary legal agreement, Josh had been living in the Tennessee property since their separation. This arrangement, however, has not been without controversy. Christina has publicly accused Josh of attempting to steal from her and her children, alleging that he transferred $35,000 of her money into his account under the excuse of maintaining the properties. These accusations have added bitterness to the already difficult divorce. The media frenzy surrounding the sale of the home and the divorce proceedings has been intense. Christina's announcement on Instagram about listing the property was accompanied by a series of posts criticizing Josh. Is Christina a victim of Josh? From the onset, Christina's legal team made it clear that her mental health would be a central issue in the proceedings. They presented a detailed account of her struggles with anxiety and depression, conditions that had been worsened by the intense pressures of her career and the constant scrutiny of her personal life. Christina's lawyers argued that the pressures of her career were immense. As a high-profile figure, she was expected to maintain a flawless public image, balancing her professional responsibilities with the expectations of her fans and the media. This constant pressure, they contended, had contributed to her worsening mental health. The legal team provided evidence of the long hours, the relentless media attention, and the personal sacrifices Christina had made to sustain her career. Her lawyers stated the incident at the gala, arguing that it was not an act of isolation or aggression but a manifestation of her ongoing mental health struggles. They presented medical records and expert testimonies to support their claim. Are they right? Were Christina's actions influenced by her anxiety and depression? Mental health problems are always a serious thing, and so the court took into account Christina's condition when determining the final settlement, ensuring that she received the necessary support to address her mental health needs. The most unexpected twist, however, was the testimony of a former close friend of the couple who revealed that Josh and Christina had been living separate lives for months before the incident. This testimony came as a shock to both the court and the public. According to this witness, the couple had been maintaining the facade of a happy marriage for the sake of their public image, while privately they were already on the brink of separation. The couple had decided on trying to maintain the facade of a happy marriage to protect their public image and professional interests. With this arrangement came more heated arguments and failed attempts at reconciliation. The topic of divorce was discussed many times, but any formal action had been postponed due to the potential fallout. The incident at the gala was not the cause of their marital breakdown, but rather the tipping point that brought their private struggles into the public eye. The revelation that Josh and Christina had been living separate lives for months added a sense of inevitability to their divorce, making it clear that their relationship had been irreparably damaged long before the public altercation. As the legal battle Continued. Both Josh and Christina faced intense scrutiny and public judgment. The proceedings were a roller coaster of emotions, with each new revelation adding to the drama. The unexpected twists and revelations during the legal battle served as a reminder that even the most seemingly perfect relationships can have deep-seated issues. For Josh and Christina, the courtroom drama was one that left both parties forever changed. In the end, the divorce was finalized with a settlement that reflected the complexities of their relationship and the challenges they had faced, with all the truth out in the open. And Josh and Christina's long move from the events. Questions still linger about these two. How will Josh and Christina rebuild their lives after such a public and painful breakup? Will they find peace and closure, or will the shadows of their past continue to haunt them? What new chapters await them as they step into their separate futures?